So you're touring substantially less now, but you've maintained the DIY approach, which also may be a Boston thing too, because we always understood that it was just as much of a chance you'd go see some great music in somebody's basement in Allston as it was that you'd go to a club, you know. But you've been doing the looky, the accurate. I don't know if you're still doing it, but the parties. Are you out of the Loft?
Well, yeah. I mean that was sort of a thing that just grew organically over about 7 or 8 years, where my rehearsal space and workspace was, you know, I realized if I organized it better, it would be big enough to have concerts. And so I started doing that, and one thing led to another. It became like so many people's favorite venue for hearing music, for a music party and all that. But the landlord put the kibosh on it back in January because it was not quite fire code, you know, compliant.
Sure.
So I'm not sure what I'm going to do next, but I really did love, as you know, because you played one of the real memorable ones. I loved putting on those parties, serving people food, getting people together, bringing together musicians, just creating a space. I was going to say, you know, for that kind of thing to happen. And I'm really sad that, well, first I got knocked out of business in that area, and now the whole world's knocked out of business for now. So it's time to think about what that does for us. I think back to Studio Rivby, Sam Rivers' Loft in New York in the 70s, which lasted, I think, 70 to 80, more or less. Mm-hmm. I used to go there a lot.
Oh, wow.
And it was Sam's home. You know, he was there with Bea, his wife, and their kids of various ages, and you could smell food cooking from the kitchen. And there'd be rehearsals going on in the afternoon, and then at night there'd be concerts, and it was just like the greatest thing. It was like love, you know. It was like music and love and togetherness, and you know, and that really made an impression on me. There were a lot of other lofts in New York too that I would go to. That was the most family. That had the most family thing, and that was the only one. That was the one where it was most obvious that the proprietor was living there too. I'm sure. And probably in some other cases it was going on too. But these little places I would go. I remember hearing Arthur Blythe play and Olu Dara play a concert of solos and duos in a little place called The Brook, I think, and somewhere in like downtown New York. And it was a summer night, and all the windows were open, and there was no air conditioning. And Arthur Blythe was playing solo, and he was a revelation of a player. And there was a power outage, and all the lights went out, all the power over downtown Manhattan went out, and you know, all of the recorded, you know, you could hear crap from the streets. All the recorded music, everything stopped. The only thing that was left going was Arthur Blythe playing solo alto saxophone in a dark room.
That's amazing.
And there were probably 15 people in the audience, maybe. And that really made an impression on me. Those days, those Loft Jazz days. And so I feel lucky that I was getting close to recreating or creating a new version of that kind of experience. In my studio in Somerville, and I'm really sad that I can't do it there anymore. And once we come out of the other end of this tube, I'll have to see. You know, the world is changing. Who knows where our heads are going to be at in a year when we can start really doing things again.